Alright, I got myself a marking knife from Foomiki. I think that's how it's pronounced. Let's see if I can zoom in. There we go. Foomiki. If it's pronounced different, let me know. Anyway, not a very expensive marking knife. Been seeing some videos on the benefits of using a marking knife over a pencil in certain applications. Today I'm trying to get my camera off of the base of my 9-inch bandsaw and give it a place of its own. So I purchased some cheap hardware. I think it's like a security camera bracket. And I need to put it in its place. And I started the project, and I decided I didn't want to make it all dusty in here today because I'm going to be doing some work on my laser engraver. Back this back out. I'm going to be working with the laser engraver a little later. I just didn't want to have a whole bunch of dust flying in the air. The place I want to put this this bracket, the screws are a little long for the wood I was going to screw into, so I was just making a little extension so it doesn't drive through the particle board that I'm placing it on. So I started to get out my new marking knife, and I decided let's get the camera rolling and show it off, see how it works. So it's got a nice little leather safety pouch, and looks about like what I expect a marking knife to look like with not much experience with these. But I was going to hand saw this little piece of wood just so I don't have dust particles flying around. I could just as easily do what I'm going to do on the miter saw, chop saw, but I don't want a bunch of dust particles flying around today while I'm playing with my laser engraver in a little while. So I figured I'd get out the Japanese saw, and I might as well give myself a nice little mark. If you don't know, these marking knives are used in place of a pencil, and one of their major benefits is when they scribe a line, they give your saw a good starting point so that you're not wobbling around on the line until you finally bite in enough to go straight with your cut. So I'm just going to throw this on here and track down a square. I just have a piece of planed cedar picket, some leftover scrap from a previous project. And so I'm just going to make sure I got enough room for the bracket on it. And I'll get my square set up to make a line. I'll just go up to there, get the bracket out of my way. Take the flat side up against your square. And light pass first, and then a harder pass. What you're doing is cutting through some of the wood fibers to make a nice scribe line. And here you have a very thin scribe line. I can't see it on my monitor, but hopefully you guys can see it. All right, and now I'll get out my Japanese pole saw and just try to saw down that line. We'll go with a larger one. Okay. I'm just going to go ahead and go off the edge here. All right. And so now with that scribe line, my blade is not wandering nearly as much as it would if I were just simply using a pencil mark. I'm not very good with these pole saws. Not a ton of time practicing. Let's try to clamp this down, make it a little easier on me. Not running into the clamp. Okay, let's see if that helps. So it's still wandering a bit, but that's just because I don't know what I'm doing with this saw. That is a fairly straight line considering my lack of skill. At least it started out pretty straight. I wandered a bit because I'm not very good. But maybe you are pretty good. Therefore, this marking knife from Foomiki, maybe this marking knife is a good starting point for you. But I don't know what I'm doing, so maybe I should just stick to the miter saw. Thanks. Okay, sitting right on this platform is where my camera used to sit, and now I've given it a little home, which puts it right close to the power cords so it can keep going. I'm pretty happy with it, so I'm going to stick them on there.